If you're tired of not making progress and you're ready to be the artist you know you're meant to be, you're in the right place. You're listening to the Singer's Path podcast. The Path, or Performing Artists Training Hub, will cover everything, including singing tips that actually work, advice from top industry professionals, and life-changing mindset shifts. Out with the starving artist and in with the thriving artist. I'm your host, Sarah Bishop, professional singer, actor, educator, and entrepreneur. I'm not afraid to speak the truth and stop the gatekeeping of quality information so you can actually become the artist you dream of being. So let's get on the path, shall we? Even though we're all on our own journeys, it always helps to have a guide. Hello, and welcome back to listening to the Singer's Path podcast. It's me, Sarah Bishop, your host. And I'm really excited to talk about today's topic, which is learning how to get practice actually performing in front of others, and how do we actually work on our nerves and build true confidence. But first, this is your reminder. If you have left us a beautiful, lovely 5-star review, which I know some of you have already, and first of all, thank you so much. You're angels. If you haven't yet, make sure that you take a screenshot of it and email me at the email address singerspath@gmail.com so I know it's you, because if you leave a 5-star written review for this podcast, then you actually get entered to win a free lesson with me, right? And if you're like, oh, I'm not really interested in just being entered to win something, we also will send you a free practice journal. So you'll get two things. You get a free practice journal, everybody gets that. And then you also get entered to win a free private lesson with me, which is actually insane because I don't even offer private lessons to the public at this point, right? So this is a really cool opportunity if you've been listening to me and you've wanted a private lesson with me to actually get in the room with me or get a chance to do that. And that's how you do it. If you really like the podcast and you feel moved and it's been helpful to you, that's all you got to do. You got to write about it. And by making that testimonial and that written review, we get this out to more singers and it helps more people. The other way to get an extra entry into the drawing to get a free lesson is if you own any of the products that I've created. So if you own Pitch and Musician, which was Pitch Please at one point, if you own Pillars, even if you came to Discover, or you have Advanced Mix, you got any of those things, or heck, even if you've done group classes before, if you've worked with me in some way, each individual thing you make a review for, or you make a testimonial for rather, that's an extra entry into your pool. So you increase your chances of getting drawn and again, getting that free lesson with me. So it's just a fun game to A, hear from you guys if these things are actually working for you. And B, just make it fun, help other people know that these products are for them, make it a little bit fun, a little bit competitive. And then you also are guaranteed a free practice journal. So all good fun, all good things. Make sure you email. Again, I will put the email address in the show notes below, singerspath@gmail.com. So I know it's you. And if you really don't want to email me, you can also just DM me on socials at singwithbish. That's fine too. I'll take it. So let's get into this juicy AF episode. I always have a lot of people who talk about this. How do I work through my nerves when I'm singing? Right? And we're going to talk about how it's important and different to actually practice performance and singing in front of others outside even just practicing vocal technique. I've talked before about to my students. I can't even remember if I mentioned it on here before, so it's a perfect time to mention it. There are already at least 2 jobs you have when you are practicing singing, right? Job A is to practice the technique. That's when you're in your private lessons, you're by yourself, you're focusing on the vocal alignment and drilling the muscle memory. And then job 2, ultimately, is when you put all of that aside and you're actually performing and you're actively engaging with the song that you're talking about. It's clear, it's focused, and you're all in. You're all into the performance. You're not thinking about your technique at that point. It should be automatic and you have to kind of let it go, right? And I would argue that another part of that first part I mentioned, the part 1 where you're like drilling technique, right, which you really shouldn't be thinking on stage, Part of even drilling technique is drilling your exposure to performing. Okay. And I'm going to share some personal stories about the importance of this. And I'm also going to share some solutions that if you do feel so nervous and it like drives you crazy, like what can you do about it and like how can you actually get better? So, first of all, if you're nervous to sing in front of others, I just want to validate you because, first of all, they've done a study, and I'm not really sure if it was like specifically for just like just being on the stage as an actor, but I'm pretty sure it's even scarier for singers because singing is so freaking vulnerable. But they drew like the same physical anatomical response that you have when you're like singing on stage to being confronted by a tiger in the jungle. So it's scary. It's kind of weird. It's like, okay, I'm going to stand up in front of all these people and I'm going to do this weird thing singing. And of course, like our brain's going to go crazy. It's going to be like, oh my God, like what if I sound bad? Or oh my God, they're all looking at me. Or oh my God, like what if I forget my words? Like, oh my God, I'm sweating. I'm shaking. My heart's pounding. Like, how am I going to get this under control? How can I focus? And our brain like goes crazy and it's almost like we like leave our body and then we're not there anymore, which really makes that job too. The I'm completely focused and I'm engaged entirely and giving my all to the performance really freaking hard. So this is a pretty universal experience. And if you're like, oh, I just feel like my nerves get the best of me all the time, this is particularly bad for me. Okay. I want to share a couple of my experiences with this and how it actually ended up improving and how I got better at it as I got more and more and more advanced. First of all, when I was a kid, and maybe you felt this way now, or you felt this way as a kid, there was nothing more important to me than singing and my like one or two opportunities I got a year to sing by myself in front of people. Some of my very first opportunities were in this like little pageant that I did. And I can't remember if I talked about this in the Tone Deaf episode. The episode where I was like, oh, my mom told me I can't sing. I made content about this too, but basically my mom thought I was tone deaf because she'd really never heard me sing before and my dance teachers were mean and they wouldn't let me sign up for a dance solo, but I needed a talent to participate in this pageant. I really wanted to be in this pageant because it was another opportunity for me to be solo on stage. Like it was an opportunity for me to do what I really wanted to do ultimately. So since I couldn't do a dance solo because my dance teacher was mean and wouldn't let me sign up for one, I was like, I'm going to sing. Ultimately, my mom didn't think I could at first, but then I was able to. Okay. So that was like one of the, if not the first, no, that was actually the first moment I ever sang in front of people on stage. And that shit was nuts. I remember being like, holy crap. It's me. I'm in a peasant costume because I was like playing little Cosette from Les Miserables, right? That was like my talent. I had a little broom. It was a whole moment. I had like this little like handkerchief like camp counselor like circa 2004 like because it was literally 2004 handkerchief like tied around my little head. Oops, I just like smacked my computer in enthusiasm. Had this little handkerchief. I had a broom and I was playing sad. It was sad Cosette, singing there's a castle on the cloud, right? And I was honestly living. I was living. However, I remember being so very nervous. I remember like my hands were shaking, my palms are sweaty, mom spaghetti, as Eminem might say. And yeah, like shaking. Like sometimes your body like takes over and has a reaction. And it's hard to control. So I remember shaking. And the very first trick that I learned as a kid was to try to get like the jitters out, like get the aggression out of your body. So there was like this one thing that I used to do, and this is again maybe not the best technique, but it was the first technique I learned, which was to like kind of helicopter your hands and like kind of flick your hands out really fast. Like you're like pretending like your hands are helicopters and you're kind of just shaking up the jitters. So it's like moving your body, like getting that adrenaline to move through you so that it's not just like stuck in your heart, like beating so fast. Okay. So that was like the most archaic thing that I did was to like, okay, I'm obviously excited, but like, how can I regulate this a little bit more? then later, one of the most important ways that helped me regulate nerves, and this wasn't until I was much older, I'm like kind of skipping a step, but it kind of has to do with this energy. Mel Robbins talks about this in her book, and I can't remember if it's the like rocket, like 5 4 3 2 1 1. I mean, Mel Robbins like writes whole stories about like one very simple concept. So I mean, kudos to her. I gotta figure out what she's putting down. But nonetheless, it was more or less like you have to just acknowledge, like when you're nervous, you have to just acknowledge that you just care, right? Like you care about what you're doing. And the body doesn't actually know the difference between like bad nerves and just excitement, right? So your body is literally just like aroused in an excited, thrilled way. It doesn't always have to be bad. So when I was in college, one of the best things that my acting teacher told us was you can't, if you're like, I can't be nervous. Oh my God, I can't be nervous. I can't be nervous. You're just rejecting the feeling, and it's just going to make it freaking worse, dude. It really helps to focus on breathing. So just like in through the nose, out through the mouth, slower. Like that box breathing. Like I can't even remember what box breathing is, but I think it's like in 4 counts, hold 4 counts, exhale 4 counts. You can look up box breathing again, not like a breathwork specialist for nerves necessarily, but I know that will help. So breathing and acknowledging like I'm nervous right now, and that's okay. That's part of this experience right now. I'm okay to be nervous. Like this is a normal feeling. I'm just excited. I just care a lot. And even just those simple acknowledgments of those things are going to make it so much easier and so much more manageable when your body feels like you're being confronted with a tiger on stage. Now, those are like my go-to techniques that I still use. We're going to go even to more progressed as we got more advanced and like where we hit some bumps along the way, and to help you kind of relate to the experience a little bit. There were some times in certain elements that I did not respond to nerves super well. One of them was like piano recitals at some point. Like I used to like nail my piano recitals because we would practice all the time, and then I'd go up and I'd do my thing and I'd come back. But somewhere along the way, I started like having this like imposter syndrome complex because I had some friends who were really good musicians that like really cared about being musicians, and they like sometimes they like I think had not that they thought that they were like better than me in any way, but I think I took it as like, oh, I'm a less than musician than like friend. So like I'm not that good. And like I started developing this like complex of like inferiority, and like I'm not good enough to be here, and oh my God. And I think they like came to one of my recitals, and I was like so nervous to play for them that I just started like sabotaging and shitting all over my performance. Like to the point where like my hands started like sweating profusely. I kept playing all the wrong notes. I started getting in my head, and then I started stopping in the middle of my song and apologizing to the audience. And my mother like never really got mad at me for performing until I did this. Like she was pissed. She was like, "Why did you do that? Like why didn't you just keep going? Like why were you like where's your poker face? Like what the fuck, Sarah?" Basically. And I was like, oh, I don't know, but I was actually a teenager at that point and was just like doing such sabotaging behavior. But if that happens to you and like you're in a performance and shit's going wrong, like, yes, it's okay to acknowledge it a little bit. But like, if you just keep digging yourself a hole and like, that might be better just to like take a pause and restart at that point. You know what I mean? Instead of just like almost keep like bludgeoning yourself in front of the audience is like it's that's a painful thing to watch. Like someone like it's okay if you fail in front of others in like a safe environment, like a piano recital for in high school, right? Like, and this is going to lead me to another point here in a second, but like what makes it worse is you beating yourself up in the moment and like panicking in the moment instead of pausing and being like, okay, inhale, exhale. I'm okay. You know what? I'm just going to start again. Like people even do that in like professional auditions. I think I was doing, oh my God, it was like an audition for like a Broadway tour recently. I think I made it for Final Callbacks. I didn't have the right note. Oh my God, I sounded insane. I was like, like I like the first note I hit was not the right note. And I forgot the words. I forgot everything. And I was like, can you give me my words? And the pianist like played the note and like gave me my words. This is a Broadway team, a Broadway audition. And I was like, can you tell me my first words, please? Thank you. Okay. The notes. Thank you. Okay, good. Like, actually, people don't actually care, right? Like, I just had a student today tell me that Taylor Swift messed up and she had to restart 2 songs at her concert. Okay. It's not the end of the world. It's just the end of the world if you like keep making it worse and punish yourself in the moment. Like, just take a breath and keep going. And this brings me up to a point that I like just talked about and I want to kind of revisit. Like, welcome failure in safe environments to help you feel safe. Like, maybe not having all your shit together, right? Like, I think what I didn't realize until I started teaching adults who always loved singing, but like hadn't really gotten the practice singing growing up. Like, they always loved singing maybe in choir, but they never had the performance opportunity growing up. Like, they didn't do community theater, or they didn't do, they didn't do the talent show, or they didn't have the choir solo or whatever. They didn't really get opportunities to sing by themselves in front of an audience. I didn't really appreciate so much all of that practice that I got until I started to see some of my adult students like having to learn now that practice. Because so we have these tools, right? We have these tools to manage our nerves, but obviously you have to start putting yourself in situations that are a little bit safer than like the final callback or the opening night. You have to put yourself into safer situations and actually actively practice putting your body in this like kind of quasi stressful situation, especially if you're not used to singing in front of people at all. And maybe you have the goal of like being the lead in your community theater. And maybe you have a huge dream goal of like moving to New York and like auditioning or whatever your goal is, or auditioning for college programs or writing your album or performing your original music, whatever it is. Like, no matter what, just like how you have to practice your vocal technique, you're going to have to practice actually singing songs in front of people. And the more that you can practice that in a safe environment, and you can practice failing in front of others and realizing like, hey, I'm not going to die. People still like me and it's okay. And also these other people mess up too. And that's also okay. The better off you're going to be. It's kind of like exposure therapy so that you don't traumatize yourself by putting yourself into too high stakes of a situation and then becoming humiliated, right? And that's actually what ends up happening to a lot of my students is because they one of two things either happen. They either didn't get the opportunities to begin with to get practice kind of fucking up, like literally fucking up like I did at my piano recital, or like I fucked up the Star Spangled Banner lyrics once, or how I fucked up like my college homework and my professor was pissed, right? Like, they didn't have those opportunities to fail and then like build resilience and build confidence, being like, oh, I either saved it for myself, or people didn't notice, or maybe I got in trouble, but like I lived, you know what I mean? Or like it didn't go how I wanted it to, but then I was able to reprise it next time, right? I was able to reprieve it. So if you haven't had that, right? Like, if you haven't had that at all, you have to find a place to do that now. And again, I don't care how big your goals are, like, you're going to feel better about feeling resourced and feeling confident to actually get that goal when you put that practice in. The other thing that may have happened to you is maybe you did try to practice, like say, and this is kind of sad, and this is why I did that workshop Starting to Sing, to talk about like where we've like kind of accidentally like traumatized ourselves with our voice, or we've picked up things and we started creating all these blocks. But more often than not, like especially when I'll have like adult singers come to me later in life, and it's kind of sad because they honestly have a true gift, like, and they're aware and they're grieving that lost time and all of that. But at this point, they've just surrendered to be like, okay, I can't like keep living my life and like not know whether I could have done this or not, and like not actually act on it. Like, I can't die not actually singing, right? So like, I'm going to do it now. But a lot of the times, like if they finally come around to it because they've finally gotten over the fear of 1 or 2 times before when they were kids trying to get that performance practice, but they got spooked so hard. They got traumatized so hard in that moment of humiliation, of failure, because maybe it didn't feel like a safe environment to them as a child, that they never wanted to do it again. So like, for example, oh, I sang in front of church and, this was really fun, but I was a shy child. And then someone, without asking my permission, just made me sing in front of everybody and I didn't know my note. And like my body freaked out and then I could never sing in front of anybody again. Or say like, oh, my grandpa came to my recital and I sang off key a little bit because I was so nervous and I couldn't hear my music. And then they made a comment about it later and I could never sing again. I never sang again because I was so humiliated that I couldn't hear my music, right? Like all of those stories are so real. Those are real stories. Like I didn't even make those up. I'm not going to tell you who they are, obviously, but like those things stop people actually from pursuing something they love for their whole life. And again, you don't have to pursue it professionally, but like if it's something that brings you joy as a child and you're like an adult now and you're trying to like have a fulfilled life, right? Like it's important to recognize like if you still love music but you're like really just so scared to do it in front of anybody, like recognize if it's a matter of you just not done it, like I kind of talked about, you just don't have the practice failing and feeling safe to fail. Or maybe it's because you were humiliated, you were shamed, and you've been so scared up until this point. And with this, I definitely want to offer a solution because if you're listening to this and this is resonating with you, this is like, I wanted to speak directly to this because I know how important it is to you to resolve this fear and to love yourself and work through it. And like I said, how do you find somewhere to actually actively practice this skill of this kind of exposure therapy? How do you find a place that's safe? How do you find a place that is specifically for this? And that's where I would like to share, and I shared this in a previous episode, but this is what this really comes down to is I think I really, really want to encourage you to check out the group classes that I'm offering because A, they're online. So like if you live in a really freaking small town in the middle of Nebraska or North Dakota or Wyoming or something, which I know I had people in other time zones, okay? Like in freaking Australia and shit, okay? That made time to do this, okay? It's online, okay? 2, there's 2 different levels, okay? So if you're the person I'm talking to about stage fright, right? I want you to ask yourself, are you having stage fright because you're professional, right? And you're like a professional singer and like, yeah, you have the practice, but really you just like need somewhere to like rep out audition material so that before you go into Telsey's office or before you go into Tara Rubin's office, you've done it before. You've done the song already. You've sung it in front of a group of people. You've gotten it even coached. You've gotten it coached with voice technique and with storytelling. Like it's a full picture and it's clear. Like you've already done that work. You've already done it in class and then you go to the audition. That is going to help with nerves, right? And so there's 2 levels, okay? If I just described that situation and that sounds like you need to check out the Tuesday afternoon class, okay? That class is packed full of people who are professional or pre-professional. Professional meaning they're advanced singer. You don't have to be auditioning for Broadway. You just have to like be auditioning somewhat, or you could be writing an album, or you could be going on tour, or you could be a gigging artist. You're someone that uses your voice a lot, or you could be a pre-professional. Okay, so you're someone that is going to be auditioning for a college musical theater. I do say that the classes are 18 and up, but if you're around like the pre-professional age, like so like 16, 17, and again, you email me or you sign up, like that counts if you plan on auditioning for programs. And what I love about group classes for the pre-professional folks is that most of the class are professional singers who are actively auditioning in New York City or have an album or are basically already doing the thing that you want to do, right? You're a young person coming up into this industry. And how valuable is that to have a class where you watch other people get their stuff coached for the real world application that you're about to enter? And if you've been overwhelmed by the college audition circuit that's coming up, which is actually insane, by the way, and I'm so sorry. I know how overwhelming this is, and your parents are probably like freaking out, or maybe your parent listening to this freaking out. To give you, if it's you, give yourself or give your child, if you're a parent, the opportunity to get the practice to try on a ton of different materials so that you pick the right material for you that shows you off the best, and then B, that you've sung a million times. And so when it's time for your really important Michigan audition, you've already done it for peers. You've already done it for people who are working professionally. That's going to boost the confidence through the roof because you have a team of other singers who are already doing it behind you, supporting you and wanting to see you succeed. And plus, I'm there and like I'm gonna toot my own horn. I'm a kick-ass coach. People get into really good schools that I coach, and like you're getting so much. You're getting personal feedback. You're getting help with material recommendations on vocal coaching, on acting coaching. Again, you're getting witnessed by other professionals. Like, honestly, I don't know why you wouldn't sign up for that, honestly. But so if you're the first group of people, so you're professionals, pre-professionals, you're auditioning a lot, right? That's what the afternoon class is, okay? So it's people that need to practice, get their reps in, become extremely good at singing in front of people consistently and stay like in tune, stay warmed up, stay not, I guess those aren't the right words, stay in shape. Stay in shape so that when the big audition comes, you are ready, my friend. Okay. So if any of that sounds like you, that's the afternoon group. Now, if you're one of the people that I described that's like, hey, I just haven't sung since childhood and I just want to like learn to sing again and like enjoy it and like take some time away from my kids to like do something for me, or like, hey, I'm just decompressing from my corporate job and like returning to something that like brought me joy as a kid. If the professional thing is intimidating as fuck to you, like that's okay. That's why there are two levels. Okay. So afternoon is not really for you. Okay, because it's going to move so fast and it's going to be a little bit more about business and setting yourself up for an audition or, making the sound you need for your album. It's more specific to creative projects and like goals, right? The afternoon class versus the evening class, which is where you're going to want to look, which takes place on Wednesday evenings. So these Wednesday evenings, I call it my happy hour class, although it is really focused. It's not like all just fun and like goofiness. But yeah, everybody still learns just as much as the advanced class does, but the pacing is a little bit different. It's more focused on really just exploration. Like, I want to see if my voice can do this. Hey, is this crazy? I've always wanted to sing this song. Sarah, can you help me know how to train my voice to sing this song? Can I be brave? Can I build my skin? Can I become thick-skinned in the way that I'm going to put myself in front of people who I know are very kind and very supportive, because I don't put up with shit in that class, by the way. It is very kind in both classes, actually. This is not a catty place. This is the place for support only. This is a place of it's safe. Okay. And I make it safe. And I know you're probably going to have to earn that trust with the space and see for yourself. But I can guarantee you everybody is so kind. Most of it are people that I've handpicked that I've worked with for years who are just the best people. And to be witnessed by them, who are like everyone in, especially in evening class, is really just there because they just love music and they love to sing. So if you were someone that's like, oh God, like I know I need to practice, maybe Sarah's right. Like it kind of sounds like I just need to practice getting my reps in front of people and sing as much as possible. If that sounds like you, this is the evening class. This is what you need, is to be witnessed in a safe way and then also witness others, right? Witness others kind of messing up, right? Witness others being vulnerable and be on the other side to be like, okay, like, wait, this is like really rad, because like, yeah, their issue that they're having might be a little bit different than mine, but it's actually not that different, because I remember when I was struggling with that too. And like, wait, I got through that and they're getting through that. Or maybe they're like one step ahead of you. They're doing a song that you're like really close to being able to do, but you see how they navigate it and you see them come out on the other side, right? One of the coolest things, especially for the Wednesday class, because my afternoon class, the professional class, already knows how to do this, which is craft performance and like act through song, or feel since like if they're performing in like a gig or recording something, like emoting through music. Like most of the professionals already know how to do that, which again is another reason that you should pick the level that is appropriate to you for your goals. But the evening class really, for the first time, was introduced to really telling story through song and emoting through song. What makes an audience member be moved by a song, right? What makes the audience lean in beyond just like they sound good? Because let's be real, someone can sound good, but if they're dead in the eyes and they make you feel nothing, then you're not going to be connected to what they're saying, right? So we started doing that in group class too. So not only are you working through nerves, right? You're being vulnerable in front of others, but I swear to God, they're so kind. They're literally the best people. And you're feeling more and more supported, right? You're starting to be like, hey, no, you know what? I think I am going to go out for that community theater thing. I think I am going to audition for that choir solo at church. You know what? I think I'm feeling I'm earning my own trust. I'm seeing that I can fail in front of others, and I can also succeed in front of others and have my own back, and I can trust myself. Then when that starts to happen, when that's like rocking and rolling, then you start to do the last thing that I'll say that really helps nerves, which is the performance thing that I was just talking about, that this evening class focuses on when we're doing song work. It's like, okay, once everybody's comfortable and your nervous system's starting to relax, and your body's starting to be like, okay, it's all right if I sound bad sometimes. It's okay if I sound great, right? Like I'm just here to learn, and I'm exploring, and I feel good, and I feel good in the presence of these other people. And then it's like the final thing to help focus your brain so that it's not, how am I going to say this so that it doesn't sound harsh? It's going to sound blunt. I'm blunt. Okay. I'm a blunt person. If you don't like it, then don't listen. But sometimes I think when we become nervous, like say we're in group class, right? Say you want to sign up for the evening group class, and you come in that first class, you're so nervous. This is going to be blunt, but it's true. It's because you have the focus entirely on yourself, right? You're going, how are their judgments going to affect me? How bad is my performance going to be? And how are they going to react to me, right? It's all about like me, my voice. How am I going to sound? It's like, and that's what I mean. It sounds harsh because it's not like, you're not really self-involved. Obviously, you're doing something that like you feel unsafe doing. So of course you're going to go to safety, and then you're going to be like thinking about yourself. But one of the most freeing things, and this will lead me like to like the highest professional level, is that the more focused you are on your imaginary circumstances and the storytelling of the song, and the more that it's all about that situation and that person that you're singing about, or that person that you're singing to, or you are so deep in the message of the song, it's almost like there is no room for nerves because your brain is entirely fixated on the act of doing the performance and not on how is the performance affecting me. Does that make sense? So it's like, that's the highest level, right? You have to get your body calm enough to like get to that point. And I'll be real, like when I was in final callbacks for Katie on Broadway, which was by far one of the scariest things in my life, sometimes your body, no matter how much work you do, your body's going to like go, right? I actually ended up getting something called beta blockers, which is something that people can do if their anxiety and their heart beats really fast, and it's causing like that physical reaction is causing them to not stay in the story of the song and the focus of the song. Then like that's an assisted thing that a lot of performers do, like a lot of performers do, so that they're not distracted by their heartbeat and the nerves. But overall, right, let's just kind of recap all of these things, right? Starting with the thing I just mentioned, the most advanced thing that you can do to control nerves, if you really needed beta blockers, lol. But really putting all of the focus outside of yourself and on the story. So connecting to the person that you're singing about or to, right, starts to take the lens off of you and how nervous you are, and is more on the act of doing the actual performance, which is really just telling the story. So that's one of the best ways to do that. Another big way is to expose yourself over and over again in a situation where you're pushing yourself outside the comfort zone and you're actually getting experience singing in front of people. And hopefully it's this titration system that happens, that you start doing it in a place that's safe, like group classes. So I really hope you consider signing up for these group classes, because they literally will rock your shit in such a good way. And like, you'll make such great friends, and you'll start to feel confident, like not even just in lessons, but like literally, like you're like, well, I can sing in front of these people. I can freaking do anything. Like, it kind of makes you feel not invincible, but like once you've overcome a challenge that used to hold you back, like that's really what builds self-trust. Okay. The next thing that can help you is by focusing on breath. So making sure that you're breathing, right? You could do helicopter hands to get the energy out if it's really there. But the final thing is really just acknowledging, like, it's okay if I'm nervous, because this just means that I care about it. I'm excited. I'm passionate. It might have spooked you before, right? But you're an adult now. You're grown up. So you can be like, hey, like, I'm okay. Like, admitting and acknowledging and seeing the feeling instead of fighting the feeling is 100% of the time actually the way through the feeling. So all that being said, I hope that if this is something that has been bothering you for a while, but you know you love singing, you listen to this podcast, you're trying to get better, but you know your next step is like, hey, like I'm actually ready to do it. And I'm ready to be with other people who are actively learning and just as passionate as me. Whether you're a professional or you're hobbyist, or, you still are an advanced singer, but you're just doing it for fun, right? Or you're an intermediate singer, or heck, you're even a beginner singer, especially for that evening class. For the professional class, you definitely need to be an advanced singer for the Tuesday afternoon class. But for the Wednesday class, we say intermediate or advanced. But like intermediate really just means that you're able to pitch and you're confident that you're hitting the right notes, right? You don't have to have had a lot of voice lessons, okay? Or a lot of performing experience, right? This is your experience, right? It's more that you're ready to show up and do the work. You don't have to be the most experienced person on the face of the earth. You could be gaining your experience in this class. You just need to make sure that you are confident that I'm not going to have to teach you pitch, right? And if that's the case, if you struggle with pitch and you're not sure if you're hitting the right notes, then you need to check out pitch and musician, because that's the thing that's going to be for you. I will say, as one more disclaimer for the group classes, because I really want you to be there, just keep in mind that you do need pillars, again, to sign up. And I've kind of mentioned this before, but pillars is a prerequisite to being in group classes. And this is because we want to primarily focus on practicing performance, right? I don't want to be teaching chest voice and head voice in group classes. This is the place we go to apply what we've already learned in pillars. So really, group classes are an extension of pillars, right? And you need to understand the language I'm going to be using so that you actually improve. And right, I'm not trying to get you to get pillars to get more out of you. Really, what I want is for this to actually work. And it needs to work in this way because you need to still be practicing and drilling technical things at home. But then you can come into group classes and be like, hey, Sarah, I was doing the lesson that you told me to do, and this one exercise was like feeling kind of weird. So like, can you listen to me do it real quick? And I'll be like, absolutely. And then we'll tweak it, right? And we'll work on it. And then you'll be like, oh, great. Thanks. Thank you for helping. Thank you for the shift. I might give you a different tool. I might tell you to do it differently. And then you'll go away and drill it again. So it's like, by having pillars while being in group classes, you're not only getting the most out of your technique, but then we're also making space, right? So that you can speak the same language and move forward in performance as well. It is just the most efficient way. And I didn't learn this until we had already done the winter quarter. So this is why this is like based on evidence and based on experience, why this is so important. But if you're like, hey, like I really want to sign up for group, but I don't have pillars and I don't know how to get it, right? When you go to the group page, there's a bundle option that will link both the group class and pillars together, right? So you could just buy it at once. And it's also broken up into a payment plan. So it's not like overwhelming, like, oh my God, I'm buying all these things at once. It's like, no, we'll stretch it out over the course of the 3 months here, so that you can feel less burdened by it. But you're getting a shit ton of stuff. Guys, this stuff is so valuable. Pillars is worth literally thousands of dollars. I think I put that it was worth $2,000, but I kid you the fuck not. It's literally my voice teacher training. It's actually insane. I paid upwards of 15 grand for my voice teacher training thus far. I'm not even like, I'm always continuing it. So just so you know, you're getting literally $15,000 worth of information in a course that is $400. So just saying. And the cool thing about Pillars is it's never ending. You'll use it forever. So all that to say, group classes are an extension of Pillars. But if you're ready to make some awesome progress, like for real, have your voice actually do the things you actually want it to do and become kick-ass confident, like, holy shit, I can do anything that I want to. I can sing the things I want to. I can go to that community theater audition and know I'm going to fucking nail it because I've already practiced it with my friends back in group class and they're cheering me on. And I know that I can try out for that choir solo. And I know that I can bring a song that I've always wanted to sing to group class and fucking nail it. I know that I'm going to be able to act and connect and move my audience with me as I'm going along. Or maybe if you're a professional, know that you've already done the material before you step out in front of Bernie Telsey, okay? If that all sounds like something that you want, I swear to God, group classes are going to be perfect for you. And I'm so excited. Remember, this is the only way to work with me, like directly. Like if you've listened to this all the time and you want the highest way of working with me, this is it. These classes are incredibly intimate to allow enough time for people to get hot seat coaching. So you can kind of look at them as like semi-private lessons because you do get individual time. And this isn't always going to be like this. And I think this is the last thing I'm going to say is like, this is still kind of a new thing. And this is the lowest price it's probably going to be. And it's the most attention you're going to get. Okay. So if you want to work with me and like, this is it. This is the time. Okay. And I wouldn't wait. Remember, signups for group classes end May 11th. Okay. And guys, we're already 60% sold out. We're already 60% sold out because people love it. Because all the people that were in winter signed up again because it's great. And it's a great opportunity. People are learning just as much as they thought that they would learn in private lessons. It's different. It's a different approach than private lessons, but it is just as valuable. So all that being said, I'm really excited to see you in group classes. Just check the link below. Again, we're already 60% sold out by the time of this episode. It might be full. I'm not sure. The page will say that if that's the truth, if that's the case. And yeah, sign up for group. If you don't have Pillars, the prerequisite, you can register for that as well. And that is where I'm going to see you. I'm really excited to build your confidence with you. And I really, really am privileged and blessed to witness the transformation that this offers people. It's actually pretty wild and very humbling as a teacher. So I'm excited to witness that in you. I hope you have a wonderful kick-ass rest of your day. I hope you're able to gain some extra knowledge on how to handle your nerves. And I really hope you take some action steps to step into something that you love, which is singing and performance. I'll see you in group class, girl. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. This helps me get this information out to more artists all over the world. Let's work together to spread the joys of music. Until next time, I'm your host, Sarah Bishop, signing off from the Singer's Path podcast. Thanks for listening.